At first, they thought it was just love. Their loyal German Shepherd refused to let their newborn sleep alone, curling up beside the crib night after night. It was adorable until it became unsettling. The dog growled if anyone tried to move the baby, and his watchful eyes never left the little one's side. Parents laughed it off. But then one night, everything changed. The baby's soft cries turned into frightening gasps, and the dog erupted in desperate barks that shook the entire house. Within seconds, chaos unfolded, and the parents found themselves dialing 911 with trembling hands. This wasn't just loyalty. This was something far more terrifying, and the truth left everyone shocked. Before we dive in, don't forget to hit like, share, and subscribe. Also, tell me, where are you watching from? Drop your country in the comments below. I love seeing how far these stories reach. The household had taken on a new rhythm after the baby arrived. Conversations turned into hushed whispers, doors closed softly, and every movement was careful not to wake her. Yet through it all, one sound was always present: the quiet shuffle of their German Shepherd's paws. From the very beginning, he made his intentions clear. He wasn't leaving the baby's side. Instead of curling up in his regular spot by the bedroom door, he abandoned it altogether. His new place was right next to the crib, lying with his body pressed against it, his eyes wide and alert, ears flicking at every rustle. At first, the parents thought it was sweet. "Look at him," the mother whispered one evening, her face lit by a weary smile. "He's guarding her like he's her big brother," the father chuckled, admiring the dog's loyalty. But as days turned into nights, the devotion grew more intense. Each time they tried putting the baby in a different room, the shepherd grew agitated. He followed closely, circling the crib, whining anxiously, and eventually settling against it as though determined to form a wall. When they carried the baby to their bed, he wouldn't rest either. He'd squeeze himself on the floor right beside them, head raised, refusing to close his eyes. What began as touching soon felt like something deeper, something they couldn't explain. The couple noticed unsettling patterns. Every night, once the baby was laid down, the dog would shift closer, his gaze fixed with unnerving intensity. If anyone reached into the crib, whether mother or even a visiting family member, he'd let out a low growl. Not threatening, but urgent, as if saying, "Don't touch her." Friends laughed when they described it, calling him the furry babysitter. But privately, both parents felt uneasy. "Why won't he let her be?" the mother whispered one night. The father frowned. "It's like he senses something we can't." Their concerns only grew when relatives began commenting. "That's strange," an aunt remarked, watching the shepherd plant himself between the crib and the door. "He's not just guarding her. It's like he's keeping something away." Those words lingered. Determined to get answers, the parents set up a camera by the crib, curious to see what was happening in the still hours of the night. Then came the night that shattered everything. Well past midnight, the quiet was broken by a sharp, piercing cry from the baby. It didn't sound like her usual fussing. It was raw, strained, almost painful. The mother bolted upright, her heart hammering. But the dog was already at the crib, barking wildly, scratching at the wooden frame, his entire body rigid with panic, as though he were trying to pull the baby out. The father rushed in, startled. "What's wrong with him?" he muttered. But the answer was clear as soon as he looked at his daughter. Her face was pale. Her chest rose in shallow, uneven gasps. Each breath was weaker than the last. The shepherd's frenzy only grew. He barked louder, eyes darting between the baby and the parents, begging them to act. He lunged toward the crib again, and this time the father understood. This wasn't overprotectiveness. This was alarm. Real, urgent alarm. The mother scooped the baby into her arms, panic twisting her voice. "She's not breathing, right?" The child's body felt limp, her tiny cries fading. The father's hands trembled as he grabbed his phone, dialing with desperation. The dog circled them in a frenzy, barking so loud it shook the walls, his tail rigid, eyes wide with fear. 911, what's your emergency? Our baby. She's not breathing properly. Please, we need help, the father blurted, words tumbling over one another. The operator gave urgent instructions, guiding them to check her airway, to monitor her breaths. Every moment felt like a lifetime. The shepherd didn't let up. He darted back and forth from the crib to the door, urging them, pushing them to act faster. The mother sobbed, rocking her daughter in her arms. Stay with me, sweetheart, please. Within minutes, flashing red and blue lights lit up the street. Paramedics stormed in. The shepherd rushed to them, barking frantically, then led them straight to the baby. The medics took one look and sprang into action. Equipment spread out in seconds. The father's chest felt like it would burst as he watched. The mother clutched the shepherd's fur with one free hand, as if grounding herself in his presence. The hospital was a blur of white corridors and hurried footsteps. Nurses wheeled the baby into an emergency room while the parents stumbled behind, clutching each other's hands. Their dog sat in the waiting area, restless and whining, ears perked at every sound from behind the closed doors. Hours crawled by like eternity. Finally, a doctor appeared. His face was serious but steady. Your baby is stable now, he said softly. The mother nearly collapsed with relief, tears streaming down her cheeks. What was wrong with her? The father asked, voice shaking. She had a severe airway blockage, likely an undetected condition. If you hadn't acted when you did, she would not have survived the night. The parents froze, realizing the truth. Their shepherd's vigilance hadn't been paranoia. He had known. He had been warning them all along. His relentless watch, his refusal to let her sleep alone, his desperate barks, he had saved her life. When they returned to the waiting room, the shepherd leapt to his feet. The mother dropped to her knees, wrapping her arms around his neck. You knew, she whispered through tears. You saved her. The father stroked his fur silently, words caught in his throat. Gratitude swelled in their hearts, heavier than any fear had ever been. Morning sunlight filtered through the hospital windows, warm and golden. Their baby lay in her crib, her breathing steady, her body peaceful. At her side, the shepherd rested, eyes half closed but still alert, unwilling to let his guard down completely. Passing nurses paused, smiling at the sight of the steadfast guardian. That dog saved her life, one whispered. When the doctor returned later, his words confirmed what everyone already knew. Your daughter is going to recover fully. But make no mistake, your dog is the reason she's alive. His instincts were extraordinary. The father swallowed hard, his throat tight with emotion. The mother buried her face in the shepherd's fur and whispered, "You're our hero." News traveled quickly through their family and community. Relatives came to see the shepherd, who refused to leave the baby's side. Neighbors shook their heads in awe. They didn't call him just a pet anymore. They called him a guardian angel. That night, when they finally returned home, the baby slept peacefully in her crib once more. The German shepherd curled up beside her, his eyes glowing softly in the nightlight, calm but ever watchful. He had fulfilled his duty once, and he would do it for as long as he lived. For that family, one truth would remain unshakable. A dog's love isn't always just loyalty. Sometimes it's the very thing that keeps us alive.